Shall we begin? You know I like to be punctual. Welcome to Right Now. We're coming to the end of this 2-week frenzy. What day is it? Wednesday. 4 more left. Every day we have the same structure but slightly different content and different themes. Today our theme is intention and obstacle. I've been doing loads of TV writing this year. Announcements soon come. And it's a real big focus when you make that shift. But I mean, when you take the shift from poetry to theatre, that's something that you have to start thinking about. But particularly if you want to move into TV or film, intention and obstacle are a massive thing that we start thinking about. But it is a really exciting proposition, I think, if you're working with song, if you're working with poetry, it's still really cool to think about. And when I say intention and obstacle, so I've joined Masterclass, the series Masterclass, and if any of you have access to that, there's a really good series on it by Aaron Sorkin, who wrote like The West Wing and loads of other really cool stuff. And his first thing is intention and obstacle. If you want a story, you need intention and obstacle. And what I mean by that, you need a character that wants something, or you need a need, and there needs to be obstacles preventing that person from getting that thing. Now in TV and film, that tends to be really, really explicit. So if you take Fight Club, for example, the main character in that, he just wants to sleep. He wants to get over his insomnia, and the doctors won't give him any medication for that because it's just anxiety. So he's trying to find a way to sleep. In The Wizard of Oz, she wants to find her way home, and she has to work out how to do that. She's got to go down this yellow brick road. She doesn't know how to get there. She doesn't know how to find the Wizard of Oz. The wizard isn't actually a wizard, etc., etc. In poetry, in narrative poetry, intention and obstacle seems to be more present. You've got lyrical poetry, which is more about the music of language and feeling. But, you know, it can be more metaphorical. It can be more implicit and intentional and obstacle. And for me personally, it's something that I've really tried to employ in my poetry, because I think having a clear intention and obstacle makes your work more accessible. It gives the story a drive, and it gives someone something to hold on to, regardless of maybe, you know, polysyllabic words and metaphors that they might not have got their head around yet in terms of younger audiences or whatever. So it's something that I really do try and employ in my work. What is the intention and what are the obstacles, and how can we intensify them? Now, people don't even need to achieve their want. Do you know what I mean? But just going on that journey with them of their intention and what they're trying to get is what is exciting and can drive something forward. So I actually found it quite hard to find a poem with a really clear intention and obstacle. But I did find one every day. So we have the same structure every day. Share a poem, 3-minute free write off the back of that poem, 10 back-to-back speed poems, some editing exercises that you can take home, and some breathing. Today, our prompt poem, which I always post in my feed beforehand, is The 17-Year-Old and the Gay Bar by Denez Smith. Now, why I chose this poem is because you kind of have the intention and obstacle in the title, right? So there's a 17-year-old that wants to get into a gay bar. So immediately there's an intention, or an inferred intention, that the 17-year-old wants to get into the gay bar, but they are not old enough. I'm obsessed with titles, by the way, if you can't tell from these exercises that I do. So I really like it when it immediately frames something in a way that you might not otherwise perceive it. So, sorry, I'm still quite congested. But I'm here. Thank you for joining me. This is The 17-Year-Old and the Gay Bar by Denez Smith. This gin-heavy heaven, blessed ground to think gay and mean we. Bless the fake ID and the bouncer who knew this need to be needed, to belong, to know how a man taste full on vodka and free of sin. I know not which God to pray to. I look at Christ. I look to every mouth on the dance floor. I order a whiskey coke. Name it the blood of my new saviour. He is just. He begs me to dance, to marvel men with the dash of hips I brought. He deems my mouth in some stranger's mouth necessary. Bless the man's mouth, the song we sway sloppy to, the beat, the bridge, the length of his hand on my thigh and back, and I know not which country I am of. I want to live on his tongue, build a home of gospel and gaiety. I want to raise a city behind his teeth for all boys and choirs and closets to refuge in. I want my new God to look at the Mecca I built him and call it damn good. Or maybe I'm just tipsy and free for the first time, willing to worship anything I can taste. I love Danez Smith, by the way. Will always recommend everything that they write. They're an amazing, amazing writer. Cool. So that's our prompt poem. We're going to do a 3-minute free write now. If you've never free written before, just focus on not stopping and writing, just pushing into that space, any sort of resistance you feel, lean into that. Use that disruption as opportunity. As Bogdan Piasecki would say, shit your way to greatness. I'm not going to stop saying that, because even when I start writing, I'm so terrified of writing shit, and I get so angry at myself when it feels shit. And then it's like, no, Deborah, you're learning, you're pushing into something new. If you're bad at something, it means you're learning something, right? So, cool. Keep going. Don't stop. If you want a bit of an extra prompt to pick up, try writing a list poem of all the intentions you've had and obstacles you've faced. So, for example, and that one's really good, right? Because you've got the 17-year-old in the gay bar. You could even use that as a sort of structure. But obviously there was even extra intention and obstacle in that, because Danez said in it, the character wants to feel needed, to belong, to know how a man tastes. We've got all of those senses. It's the first time they're in there. That's an obstacle. The fear of ordering a drink, that's an obstacle. And then even when they do get the taste of a man, to know if it's everything they wanted it to be, is still, there's obstacles there. It's a really good example of how we use this in a slightly more subtle way than you might in TV or film. But yeah, a list poem of intentions and obstacles. So I started doing this just to see how difficult the prompt was. But so I've written, thinking about me, the 16-year-old getting into Eastside. That's a bit more inspired by the title. The poor kid getting on a bus with a packet of plasters instead of a bus pass. I used to show a packet of plasters instead of a bus pass. The Mormon weirdo becoming an MC. So write the intention and then write the obstacle, and try and write a list poem in that way. If you're like, I don't get what you're talking about, Deborah, just free write for 3 minutes inspired by that poem. It's totally, totally cool. Now's your chance to ask me any questions that you have as I set up the 3-minute timer. Are we ready? Oh, Mario, I hope that you're writing with me today. And I hope you caught the whole poem, Mejd. Cool. 3 minutes starting now. Let's go. Ooh, that was tough. And that's good. Time's up. Hello, how is it going? Cool. If you just jumped in, your time is not wasted. We're still going to do 10 back-to-back speed poems or pieces now. I feel like the light resolution's really weird on my phone today. Anyway, so as always, this is an exercise adapted by Roger Robinson. If you don't know him, go get to know him. And we're going to do six, I always get my numbers mixed up, 10 back-to-back poems or pieces or verses or bits of dialogue, whatever form you're working in today. I will give you your title. You will then have 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with that title. If you want a bonus exercise, loop them into each other to make one long 60-line something. The main thing is that you have to write 6 lines. Don't give yourself any other option. If you want to write more, cool, but you need to write at least 6 lines. And that sort of pressure that's like, I have to write, it really helps you push into the shitness, lean into the disruption, and surprise yourself, man. Like, we can get into this routine of like, oh, I have to be comfortable, I have to sit in a certain place, I have to write at a certain desk, I have to be in a certain mood, right? I write like it's gym. I'm not always in the mood, and it's often those days where it feels the hardest, where I'm gonna grow the most. So if you feel that resistance, try and get excited about that and push into the sense of surprise, because there's so many areas of your brain that you haven't written from yet. You know that burn you feel after you go to the gym? That's what we want with our hands. Cool. So all the titles are from me today. I feel like this intention and obstacle thing, it can be quite a new sensation if you've not thought about that before. So when you're free writing, just try and lean into that. If a character comes up, try and say what they want, try and say what they need, and then maybe even start listing some obstacles that they face with that. If there's an action that happens, if someone's in a race, what obstacles are they facing? So if ever you're stuck, just ask yourself those questions. Try and go to those places. What do these people want? What do I want? What are the obstacles I'm facing? And just write into that. Yeah, just really kind of have that focus. Again, if you're new here, don't worry so much about that extra little bonus exercise. Just write the 6 lines. You got it? You got it. Cool. Let me get my timer up. And remember to breathe, man. I keep forgetting to breathe. Awkward. Are we ready? Cool. Your first title is Before I Was Born. Before I Was Born, and your 1 minute starts now. Let's go. Okay, your next title is Recaptured. Recaptured. So to capture again. Recaptured. Your 1 minute starts now. It's taking my writing somewhere really, really different, this leaning into the intention and obstacle. I have to say, I'm surprising even myself. Your next title is Slapstick Style. Slapstick, which is like comedy that's derived from like people falling over and hitting each other and stuff. Slapstick Style is your next title, and your 1 minute starts now. Let's go. Okay, your next title is Clothesline. Clothesline could be the object or the wrestling move, maybe both. It's up to you, but your next title is Clothesline. And if you've just jumped in, why not write some stuff? I'm giving you the title, then you've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with that title, and your next title is Clothesline. Let's go. Okay, your next title is Dandruff Walls. Dandruff Walls. See, the light's got weird again. Dandruff Walls is your next title. You've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with the title Dandruff Walls. Let's go. Try and get the light back. Make the light normal. No, still shining. Okay, we're halfway now. Your next title is She Loved a Smuggler. She Loved a Smuggler is your next title. You've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with the title She Loved a Smuggler. Let's go. Okay, your next title is Into the Mattress. Into the Mattress. Can't spell mattress. Into the Mattress is your next title. You've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with the title Into the Mattress. Let's go. Okay, 3 more to go. Keep leaning into that disruption. Your next title is Fast Forward. Fast Forward is your next title, and you've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with the title Fast Forward. Let's go. Okay, 2 more. Your penultimate title is Flinching. Flinching. I love a good verb. Flinching is your penultimate title. Your 1 minute starts now. Flinching. Okay, your final title is Squat Position. Squat Position is your final title. You've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with the title Squat Position. Let's go. Okay. Your time is up. Hopefully 11 poems or pieces of something have been written. Thank you so much for joining me, especially I've been feeling so rough. It's nice to be able to be back. Some editing homework for today. Edit a piece of what you've written today, or I know quite a few people are working on existing projects, so if you are, maybe look at a piece that you're struggling with, try and establish what the intention is and what the obstacles are. And try and, I mean, you can even do an edit when you cut out everything that isn't that or anything related to that. That's a really cool edit to do to something. So you could do that with everything you've written. Just reduce it down to the intention and obstacles. Obstacles. Cool. Let's take some breaths. It might be hard for me to breathe. I'm feeling quite congested. But I'll see what I can do. Let's just go with 4 box breaths today. So holding for 4, inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, holding for 4, and we'll do that 4 times. So we're going to go in through the nose and out of the mouth. Try and lay your feet flat on the floor if you can. Gosh, I really need this. My neck feels so tight. We're going to hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. Thank you for joining me today. Definitely glad I can be back. I'll be back same time tomorrow, 12 till 12:30 until Sunday. So please do join me. Oh, well, Rowan, I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. I'm so glad I could be back. I'll post this in my feed, so it's up as a resource, so please feel free to reshare. Quite a few people have got in touch with me about using these with students and stuff. Please feel free to do that. Obviously, I do swear a bit. So do just keep that in mind. I've tried stopping. I'm not very good at it. Apologies to my mum, who also does watch these on YouTube. I am who I am. And you know what? Swear words are an important part of writing. But maybe I should use them a bit more frugally, I guess. Thank you so much. Oh, Gobs, great to see you in. Oh, Bridie, I miss you so much. Kayla, thank you. Medj, thank you. I'm so glad I could be of help and connect with people I love all over the country and the world. See you tomorrow. Pew pew. Take care.